eyes glittering with all the mischief of the season and the excitement of being back at the inn, even though she owned and ran her own place out in Inglenook Falls now. "Kaisha, welcome!" "It's as though you still work here." Kaisha hugged her hello. "Where's Sophia?" Sophia was the business owner, and she and Darcy had been a good partnership for a long time until Darcy decided to make her own way. "Her daughter is in town, so she's having a big Thanksgiving with the in-laws. I offered to manage guests here at the inn at the same time as hosting our own Thanksgiving." "You always were good at multitasking," Cleo complimented. "Says the woman with more things on the go than Santa Claus," Darcy joked, her chestnut hair shimmering beneath the lights in the hallway. Kaisha watched the exchange, glad to be a part of this group Cleo had drawn her into gradually over the years they'd known one another. There was a trust built up between Darcy and Cleo, a strong friendship between them and others, and Kaisha doubted anyone would ever abuse that. She'd give anything to feel that secure, knowing friends and family had her back, that they'd be there for her no matter what. Once Kaisha had hung her coat on one of the hooks near the entrance, she followed the others into the cozy lounge with a Christmas tree visible from the street. Sparkling and festive, it instilled a sense of peace without really trying. "How's it going at the Inglenook Lodge?" she asked as Darcy ladled out a measure of eggnog for her. Last Christmas, Darcy and her husband Miles had announced they'd bought the former Chestnut Lodge in Inglenook Falls, Connecticut, renamed it the Inglenook Lodge with Sophia's blessing, given this very place had a similar name, and slowly it was beginning to take in guests. "We're open for business," Darcy beamed, "but not for Thanksgiving this year. The dining room is still undergoing renovations, and we've shut that off from the rest of the place, so next year will be our first big Thanksgiving event for guests." "You'll have a full house soon when Cleo's wedding guests arrive." "I can't wait. The more visitors, the better. You know me. I get a thrill with it all." "Loving your job is the way to be happy," Kaisha smiled. She really did live by the mantra that life was too short to do something you didn't love, although sometimes she was guilty of sitting back and falling into the usual routine when, really, it was time she made a change. "Cheers to that!" Cleo took another mouthful of eggnog before setting down her glass to go and use the restroom. Kaisha sipped the creamy, luxurious mixture. "This is really good." "Made to Cleo's recipe," said Darcy, reciting the ingredients from memory. "Actually, while I've got you on your own for a minute, I wanted to ask how she is." "Cleo? Is she coping with the wedding plans?" "She's more excited than anything else." Between them, they kept a close eye on their friend for signs of stress, overworking, both of which Cleo wasn't a stranger to, but could catch her out when she least expected. "Not too busy?" "Well, you know Cleo. She's busy, but at least very organized." "Good to hear." They watched as their friend came back down the hall, chatting with Rupert, the chef at the inn, who Darcy had paid to put on a full Thanksgiving dinner for them all this evening before he went off to join his own friends and family. "The dress you made her is gorgeous, by the way," said Darcy. "You have a real talent." "I'm not sure about that." "Don't sell yourself short." Darcy, dressed in heels and a deep green kimono wrap dress, and with her hair hanging loose around her shoulders rather than in the workday chignon she usually favored, saw to a guest who had come down the stairs and needed directions to the Rockefeller Center. "It must be nice to be back here in the city," said Kaisha when Darcy was free again. "It's lovely to visit." "The Inglenook Lodge is stunning, though, and it must be wonderful to have your own place." "It feels right, you know," she beamed. "When Miles and I agreed to buy the lodge, I knew we'd made a good decision." She crossed her fingers on both hands. "Let's hope it's a booming business in years to come." "I'm sure it will be." Kaisha had witnessed both Darcy and Miles cope with strenuous workloads, overheard enough conversations to know that it had been a source of much stress for them. Not that running your own business was any less pressure.
"Is Miles happy to be out of the rat race?"
"More than I thought he would be. I thought he'd miss it, but so far he's so busy turning."